Hey guys, I'm gonna try something a little different. I've kind of been exposed a little to like different blog styles, so I thought I'd throw in some videos every once in a while. I think it makes it a little bit more personable, and that way you guys get to see my beautiful face. Um, so yeah, I am in Kofu, Yamanashi-ken, Japan. I moved here about, whew, maybe it's 3 weeks now. Ugh. Anyways, yeah, so Yamanashi-ken, the prefecture, is 2 hours by regular train. So I'm fairly close to Tokyo, and I am in the capital city, the major city of Yamanashi, which is Kofu. Um, I live about 15-minute bike ride, 15-minute bus ride, 40-minute walk from the Kofu train station. I like to call that downtown, so I will refer to it as downtown from here on out. I live west of downtown. Literally, you turn off the main road from downtown and you head on west. Like I said, for 15-minute bus ride or bike ride, 40-minute walk, and you're going to run straight into my high school, which is Kofu Josai Senior High School. Um, I have worked there for the equivalent of 8 days now. Um, Basically, I'm just logging hours. I'm not really expected to do much, although I have created a couple of lesson plans, which I feel really good about. When I first arrived, luckily I had my predecessor and her husband here, and they were so terrific. They were very nice. They did a lot for me, more than I expected. Um, the apartment that I'm living in far exceeded my expectations. It's great. It's still got a very um, Japanese-esque home living vibe to it. I've got sliding doors. My shower, I've kind of like the shower head outside of the tub area, so that's very common in Japan for uh, Japanese to bathe themselves outside of like the clean like tub water. It's hot, it's humid, and I know for a lot of people that's when people say it's hot, it's like, okay, well, how hot is it? How humid is it? Um, if any of you guys experienced Mexico during their summer uh, months, it's kind of like that, and there are thunderstorms and clouds intermittently throughout the day, throughout the week. It's a bit too warm for my taste, but then again, I was raised in San Diego where it's like 72, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 to 25 degrees Celsius year round. We don't know what hot means, nor do we know what cold means. And I have also been told on countless occasions that when it gets cold in Yamanashi, in Kofu, it gets cold. And we're looking at close to -5 degrees Celsius, which is around in the 20s, 20-degree Fahrenheit range. Um, so yeah, it's gonna get cold. So the high school, it's big. It's got 7 floors. I mean, it's definitely smaller than a university, definitely smaller than a college, but it's unlike any other high school that I've ever seen or attended or been to. So it's kind of exciting. It's really thrilling to kind of be a part of what I like to consider a traditional high school where there are a bunch of students, bunch of teachers, and you kind of get lost wandering the halls and you're kind of just another name, you're kind of just another face. Um, we'll see how long I enjoy that since I'm so accustomed to small, intimate settings with teachers and other students. It's summer here. Students and faculty are on summer holiday, and if you've read any of my previous posts, you would know that despite it being summer vacation, students and faculty are still going into school. They're still logging 7 to 8 to 9 hours a day, either working on lesson plans or studying for tests or prepping for entry college level exams, doing sports, pushing paper, what have you. And it blows my mind how dedicated uh, the students and the faculty are. And not everyone is there, but more than you would expect. These students only get a month off out of the entire year, really, to do whatever is fun for them, and a majority of them choose to be in school learning still. I got to meet the all girls and all boys archery champs. I think it was my second day that I was there for the full day last week. Our vice principal gets a phone call. So this is all being said in Japanese, but something along the lines of girls archery team just won the championship. And they're talking about it, and the teachers are getting up from their desks, and they're going over to the vice principal's desk, and he turns on the TV. I get up, and I recognize one of the English teachers that my supervisor introduced me to. So I go up to her, and I ask her, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And she says, oh, the vice principal just got a call that the girls' archery team just won. Our girls' archery team just won. So they turned on the TV, and it had already been pre-recorded, but we sat there and watched the girls kick some serious butt in archery. They came in the following day to bring the trophy and do this kind of ceremony where they turn in the trophy to the vice principal and the principal, the two vice principals and the principal. And they spot me because even though I'm very short, I clearly am not Asian. Motion for them to come over, and then they come over and they just start laughing hysterically, and that happens a lot. I meet any students, mostly girls, I'll meet any students, and I'll say, hi, my name is Alejandra, what's your name, blah, blah, blah. They lose their shit. Like, they just start laughing. So that was really cool. That was really fun. Jets, the other Jets that I've met. Oh my goodness, I have met so many current and former Jets since I arrived. And let me just tell you, every single one of them has been terrific. They're so nice, they're so welcoming, and it's great. I posted this on Facebook. I didn't really get a chance to write about it, but one day this was the first day I decided to ride my bike from my apartment to downtown to the Kofu station. And I had been in a car a couple of times with people, and it just seemed so straightforward. And I was just like, yeah, like, all roads lead to Kofu station. They don't. Duh. You could have told me that. Someone could have told me that in Japanese, and I probably would have gotten that. So I ended up almost on the other side of town. I ran into a park that's called the Sports Park, and it's a park completely dedicated to sports. There were just a bunch of soccer fields and baseball fields and tennis courts, and I think there were only a couple of basketball courts, but it was really, really cool. So I rode around there for a while, and then finally I was like, alright, well, I'd actually like to get to my destination. I'd actually like to find downtown Kofu, so I know how to get there. So I was at a stoplight, and across the street on the other side, I saw a couple of high schoolers. Not my high schoolers, they were wearing a different uniform. But once the light turned green and they crossed, I asked them, like, do you know where Kofu Station is? And, they looked at me really surprised that I knew Japanese. And then I tacked on at the very end, oh, and do you know English? They looked at each other, they giggled, and, you know, the boy, his name was Yuki, he said, I know a little English, and I said, okay, and I asked, can you help me, can you just point me in the direction? They both look at each other, and he says, we'll take you. You know, they they take me to Kofu Station, and we were about a 40-minute bike ride away from the Kofu Station. He just talked to me in English the entire time, and it was great. We ended up on the north side of Kofu Station. Luckily, I had been there previously, so I kind of knew where I was, so I had my bearings, I had my wits about me. But they took me to this huge, like, parking-like structure where there were about 10,000 bikes. And they're like, this is where you can park your bike, and that's where you can catch the train. And then I had to try to explain to them that I wasn't trying to catch a train, that I just wanted to try and find downtown Kofu. And they kind of just looked at me like, why? That's just weird. Because it was like 4 p.m. and about 100 degrees outside. It was blazing hot. They're like, why would you ride around for fun, crazy American? They were really nice. They were terrific, and one of my aunts, she had responded to my Facebook status, and she said, you know, you weren't lost, you were found, and that I was. I was found. Luckily, these Japanese high school students took pity on me. They took pity on the gaijin and took her to where she needed to go. I've done karaoke 3 times now. I am a karaoke professional. You know, it doesn't sound like it would be a lot of fun. Let me tell you, it is a lot of fun going out with a bunch of people, and all of these people that I've gone out with they've all been different groups every time. When you get a group of people together and you guys pick songs that you all enjoy and you just belt out the lyrics and just sing non-stop for 2-3 hours, it is probably one of the greatest feelings ever. And I'm not gonna lie, there was some alcohol involved in a couple of those karaoke sessions, but yeah, you just throw your inhibitions to the wind, and then you just have a really good time following along to really bad covers, techno covers of songs like Queen. I mean, you have to sing Queen, you know, Smash Mouth, you've got Katy Perry, you have Lady Gaga, you have the Eagles, you have Bon Jovi. I mean, come on, Bon Jovi guitar solos. It's the shiz, right? So that's been a lot of fun. I've gotten on the train a total of 3 times since being here and traveled within Yamanashi. The farthest I've been was east. Maybe it was northeast or southeast, southeast, but it was east nonetheless. And that was to the Ichikawa Diamond Firework Festival. I know a couple of you have seen my picture on Facebook of me and my yukata, my summer kimono, but I bought it and I wore it to the firework festival, and there were hundreds, I would say even close to 1,000, maybe even more, but in my immediate area where we went to go see the firework festival, there were a lot of people, and a lot of young girls, women my age and older women dressed in yukatas. Everyone had different gorgeous patterns, and their hair was all done so nicely, and they had nice little things in their hair, and their cute little purses and shoes and big bows on the back, and it was pretty freaking cool. And there were about 30,000 plus fireworks, and that is not an exaggeration. There were a shit ton of fireworks, and this firework festival, is really well known in Japan. It's one of the bigger ones because the firework companies that participate in this every year are all competitors in the firework making industry. So we literally had 2 hours of fireworks going off back to back, and at the same time there was like a little festival area, so my friends and I, we decided to go grab some food maybe halfway through the fireworks show, and there were like these little stands for kids to like play and stuff. And I don't know if any of you guys have either seen any anime or have read manga or have seen any kind of like History Channel dedicated to Japanese culture, but they have this game, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a tub of fish, and you get a bowl, and you get this kind of, it looks like a magnifying glass, like the shape of it, but where the glass part would be, it's nothing but very thin rice paper. And what you're supposed to do is with your bowl that has a little bit of water in it, you wait patiently, and then you try and scoop the fish into the bowl. And the more fish that you can scoop into your bowl, the better, I suppose, but you're allowed to take them home. They're like pets. It's like goldfish when you go to carnivals in the States, but, you know, there, that's not how you catch them. They actually give you a net where you can get them. No, but you gotta scoop it up on this little rice magnifying glass thing. But I tried that, failed miserably, but it was a lot of fun. I've been to a couple of other places. I've been to another couple places west of Kofu, just not too far, maybe about a 10-minute train ride at the most, but I went to Enzan. That's where uh, one of my friends lives. His name is Fred. From there, we went to a barbecue, so we had a barbecue with mostly Group A, new arrival ALT jets, and some of the former jets and participants of the Yeti. Yeti stands for the Yamanashi English Teacher International, and it's a wonderful support system for current, former, current and former jet participants. So I have a really terrific community here. I went to Sakaori for another karaoke night, which was a lot of fun. Things have been going really, really well. I'm having a really, really good time. And that almost scares me a little bit, how well it's going. It's kind of frightening to think that that might go away at some point. And it's something that the JET program has talked about, and what I mean talked about is during orientation, even when we were still in the States, in Tokyo, and now here in Kofu, they reiterate over and over and over again that, like, it's to be expected. You know, you're going through this honeymoon period of living in a foreign country, and, you know, everything just seems kind of surreal. But I'm here for a year. I'm here for a year, and that's something that I keep reminding myself over and over again. You know, I'll catch myself reminding myself of the reality that I'm here for a year and I'm here to teach. You know, if I'm with a bunch of ALTs and we're out, you know, eating dinner, or if we're at karaoke, or even if we're just walking down the street being really loud, obnoxious gaijin, like, I catch myself reminding myself, like, this is fun, enjoy it, be aware that it's a honeymoon phase. But it does scare me to think that it might possibly hit me one day, that I'm not at home, that there's a language barrier or a cultural barrier, dress codes are giving me problems, or food is giving me problems. Like, okay, I'm already gonna say this. I really miss hot Cheetos. I really miss Mexican food, and the good kind of Mexican food, like the Mexican food that, you know, you get that has like 5,000 calories in. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I want right now. Anyways, I mean, there are already things that I miss, but there are also things that I know that I can live without, that I don't necessarily have to have in my life. But I know that if and when things get difficult, those are going to be the things that I'm going to be craving and wanting and needing the most. I really am trying hard to embrace the idea of not coming to Japan to make comparisons or find contrasts between the culture I grew up in and this culture that I am now currently trying to assimilate in. I'll be talking to a couple of Jets or maybe another foreigner, and they'll bring up something that might make me think like, oh, well, that's how it's done there, but it's not done here. Or maybe that's how we interpret it because we don't know how to interpret it in any other way. I'm striving to stay away from those kind of thoughts. I think what they are, though, are hindrances in being able to completely enjoy this experience. I'm not thinking about the end just yet because it's only the beginning, and as I've mentioned already countless of times, like, I'm really enjoying myself. All of that aside, I think another thing that I really want to bring up is that even while I'm mulling all of this over in my head, there's another thing that I had realized maybe a quarter or at least a month and a half before I graduated. I'm not the smartest kid on the block. I have really good common sense though, and I work really hard. So I know what it is to struggle, and I also know that through my struggles I've also discovered this amazing resilience that I never would have thought I ever had I not pushed myself through these past 22 years. It's fortunate that I've come to realize that the things that are put in our path are there for a reason, and they're not there to keep us from obtaining our goals. You know, if anything, they're just there to make us stronger, and I think that, again, even though it scares me that I'm having such a good time already, I know that when difficulties come along, because I've already survived and done so many other things, I know I'll be capable of kind of working through these other problems. So, with that being said, I just want to sign off saying I miss you all. I hope you guys know that I'm thinking about you often. You guys are with me in spirit. You guys are always on my mind. You guys are always in my heart. And I love you guys. Hopefully this video blog will be uploaded by Friday morning or Friday afternoon for the folks back in the US of A. So hopefully. And if not, well, then we're probably gonna have to wait a while. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a good day or a good night wherever you are. It's almost evening for me, so I'm going to say good night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you.